Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Joe with Smokin Joe's Pit BBQ. On today's video, we're gonna make what they used to call poor man burnt ends, but with the meat shortage and beef prices being through the roof, we are making rich man burnt ends. Stay tuned. As you can see, look at this bark. It's crazy. Oh man, this is perfect. It helps to start with a nice sharp knife, okay? Oh my goodness. Look at that. All right, so I've got two chuck roasts here. Now these are 2.5 pounds a piece. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, these used to be at one time pretty affordable. I paid $6 a pound. It cost me $32 for both of these, which is really expensive. And chuck roast used to be a really inexpensive piece of meat. And that's why they call this poor man burnt ends. But with the price of beef and the meat shortage, I gotta tell you, we ought to change the name for a short period of time anyway, to a rich man burnt ends. So these were really marbled in the case, and I picked the ones that were the most marbled. Chuck roast, usually a dry piece of meat. So if you get it nice and marbled like this, the chances of it drying out on you are gonna be less, okay? So I'm gonna use two different rubs today. Now both of them are gonna get a SPG layer at first. This is just my homemade SPG. Okay, no binders. Just like that. This is gonna be so good. I want some bold flavors, and obviously to have a burnt end, you almost want a sweet flavor at the end. So we're gonna add a little bit of sauce with some glaze as well to get that nice sweet flavor. Okay, now for one of these, I'm gonna use this Bovine Bold. Okay, this stuff is absolutely delicious, full of flavor. This is from Plowboys BBQ. So just add a good layer, nothing too crazy. Okay, and I am going to be smoking these in my Yoder YS640 Pellet Smoker. To start, we're going to go at 180 degrees just to lay a good flavor of smoke. Then I'm going to crank that smoker up to 250 degrees. Okay. Just like that. Now the second rub is a rub that we are working on with Victory Lane BBQ. So you just want to pat the rub down here pretty good. Okay, so here's our second rub. And this is going to have a brighter red color. A little bit more pepper. Man, this rub looks good. Okay, I'm going to use my other hand so I don't mix the rubs. Just like that. Love the big pepper mesh on this rub here. Okay. Get some on the other side as well. All right, these are going to sit on my cutting board for probably 30 minutes while I fire up my smoker. We'll see you guys outside. Stay tuned. All right, so we're outside and my smoker is set to 180 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and put the roast right on the grate. Just like this. That's that Bovine Bold, and here's that Victory Lane. Okay, go ahead and put my probe in. Now I wanna put the probe on this roast right here. The one closest to the exhaust stack, right there, okay? And we'll monitor that temperature. So again, 180 at 1 hour. After the 1 hour, I'm gonna come back and crank the smoker up to 250 degrees. We'll see you guys in a bit, stay tuned. All right, so 1 hour into the cook. Now I don't expect to see a whole lot of color change. Again, 180 is just gonna lay a good layer of smoke on the chuck roast, okay? The internal temperature, in fact, the bark's not even set. The internal temperature is 96 degrees. So now I went ahead and cranked the smoker up to 250. Now it's gonna start cooking and smoking at the same time. This is gonna go for about an hour. We'll see you guys then, stay tuned. All right, so the chuck roast has been in my smoker now for 3 hours. 1 hour at 180 and then 2 hours at 250. I'm about to pull them, but before I do that, I'm gonna make a sauce, okay? The first part of the sauce that I'm using is this Kosmos Q OPX. I'm going to use 1 cup of this, right there. Okay. Then 1 cup of this burnt out barbecue company. This is their grill candy. Good stuff. So 1 cup of that. Right there. And then I'm going to use 1 cup of beef broth. Okay. Okay, right there. And we're going to whisk this up. All right, let me pull the chuck roast out of the smoker and we'll be back. Stay tuned. All right, so I've got both chuck roast out. This is the one with the Bovine Bold, and then this is the one with the Victory Lane rub. Now I'm going to check the smoke ring on both of them, and I'm also going to cut these in small cubes. Okay. Let's check the smoke ring out. Again, this is only 3 hours in. It's not ready. Internal temperature is 160. Look at that. Nice and juicy, good smoke ring. So you can actually eat this. I mean, this is ready. Again, 160 degrees, but again, we're going to try to get this tender. Look at the smoke ring on this thing. Okay. So the cubes, I'm going to try not to mix them up here. The cubes, I want them just bite size. Okay, probably 1-inch squares like this. Okay, and it's tender, but we're going to get them even more tender. So I'm going to go ahead and cube the rest of this, and I will bring you guys back. Stay tuned. All right, so I've got both chuck roasts cubed up. Now just pour some sauce over each one. Look at that deliciousness. Now we're going to cover this up and put it back in a smoker, covered up in foil. That's going to get these poor man burnt ends nice and tender. And I had a little piece. It's actually really good. Okay. Just like that. Deliciousness for sure. All right, so I'm just going to cover them up in foil, pop them back in the smoker for about an hour and a half. And at that point, I'll bring you guys back. Stay tuned. All right, so we're at the 4-hour mark, and the burnt ends have been wrapped in foil for 1 hour. Now, these are the Victory Lane. I put VL here on the foil. So I'm just going to unwrap them. And they should be in a lot of juice. Ooh, they're hot. Oh man, this is good. Look at that. Now they're still not as tender as I'd like for them to be. So on this next step, we're just going to take the foil off. There we go. Man, these are looking good. So I'm going to leave the foil off. And again, remember the Victory Lane is on the left over here. Okay. For another hour, let that sauce get nice and sticky. And it's going to continue to get the burnt ends nice and tender. Continue to render some of that fat. So we'll see you guys in about 1 hour. Stay tuned. All right, so another 40 minutes has gone by and the liquid is kind of evaporated. So I did put a little bit more of that Kosmos Q OPX sauce on these burnt ends, and I gotta tell you, these are gonna be fantastic. Okay, these are the Bovine Bold burnt ends, and these are the Victory Lane rub burnt ends. Okay, so I just put a little bit more of that OPX sauce in here, just gonna mix them up. I gotta tell you, number one, the color on these burnt ends are solid. Okay, they're nice and red. Hope you guys can see that. You can see that smoke ring in there. Look at that. It's just dripping with goodness. So I'm gonna let them sit in here for another probably 15 minutes or so. Then we will see you guys inside. Stay tuned. All right guys, so the burnt ends are ready and the total cook time was 5 hours. Now I failed to mention the last hour I cranked the smoker up to 275 degrees, uncovered it, and this is what we have. These are the Victory Lane burnt ends. Look at that beautiful nugget of goodness. And here are the Bovine Bold burnt ends. Really similar colors. I'm gonna plate these up, take my thumbnail picture. We'll come back and give them a taste. Stay tuned. All right, let's give these poor man burnt ends a try. First, I'm gonna try the Victory Lane rub. And man, these are gonna be so good. Really tender, really good peppery flavor. Those are delicious. Now the Bovine Bold. Oh man, that was good. Look at this, guys. Here we go. That is delicious as well. I'm gonna say that this combination right here, this Kosmos Q OPX1 and this burnt out barbecue company, this grill candy, is fantastic for this kind of stuff, okay? So, these are two totally different flavors, okay? The Victory Lane has a much more bolder flavor. This one has a more sweeter flavor. They're both extremely savory, but two totally different flavors. Which one do I prefer? Quite honestly, I like them both. I do like the bold flavor of the Victory Lane. This is more of a kind of a beefy, really good beefy flavor. This one has beefy flavor as well, but it's a little bit sweeter. I gotta tell you, you cannot go wrong with any one of these. Now this rub right here is not out in the market yet. I'm still testing it. I think we've got it finally. The pepper content is right where we want it to be. So I hope you guys like this video. You have got to give these poor man burnt ends that are not just for poor men. Actually, you have to be a rich man to buy them today because of the prices of meat. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, Joe with Smokin Joe's Pellet Barbecue. See ya.